Well, welcome to this edition of Probe. I'm your host, Carvel Monroe. Today I get an opportunity to catch up with Renee Roberson, the founder of Nyela Lady, and talk a little bit more about the Women's Summit that's coming up on October 19th. So join with me now as we sit and probe together. What would you say to some of your audience right now to compel them to make this decision to go ahead, register for this summit, and come on in on October 19th?
I would tell them that this is one event they don't want to miss, because not only are they getting empowered to tell their story, but they're also getting empowered to go back out and help someone who may not be able to share. Because domestic violence affects over 1.3 million women. It's estimated that domestic violence or relationship violence or dating violence affect 1.3 million women, and 1 in every 4 women have been affected by it to the point of death.
Okay.
And we need to get the word out. It shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be something that we don't want to talk about, because it's happened or happening to everyone. And domestic violence, dating violence, or relationship violence doesn't have any type of restriction. It can affect anyone at any time. So what I want everyone to know is, as you come out to the summit, you're getting ideas of how to identify abusers, so you won't get into those diabolical relationships. And then if you are in a relationship and have come out, how to heal after abuse and move on, and then we can move forward. Because I don't want to just let the women know that you're going to come, get door prizes and all types of speakers, and that's all good, but you're getting information of how to better yourself.
Explain to the audience again, what makes this, or why is this an important place to go to get this resolved? In other words, what's the difference that Nyela's Women's Summit is going to make compared to, say, the people who go other places to get some sort of motivation or encouragement? What's going to be the different dynamic? What's going to be the game changer here for them to attend this event?
The catch-all for our Nyela's Women's Summit is that it's real people telling real stories, changing lives. Because when you go places, oftentimes you got to come in and be something you're not, and you got to come in and pretend that you're okay. Here at the Nyela's Women's Summit, we want you to come as you are. Now, we're not just talking about domestic violence, dating violence, and relationship violence. We're talking about any type of abuse against women, rape, sex trafficking, prostitution. So anything that women are coming out of or been forced into or just fell into for whatever reason, and they've been down and out, but not realizing that they can pull themselves up. So we're giving them those tools to move forward.
Yeah.
We're giving them that strength to move forward. It's a freedom of not feeling intimidated, ashamed. There's no shame there.
Okay.
At the Nyela's Women's Summit. Just love, encouragement, education to move forward, to know that abuses might have happened to you, but it doesn't have to define who you are, where you're going.
That's good. Now let's talk about the location.
Okay.
What is it about this location that's going to help or lend itself to the healing process or delivery process for women who are encountering this thing? Why did you select the location you did? And what's the advantage versus just going somewhere else? Let's talk about that a little bit.
That's a good question. I chose the Metro West Golf Club because it's centrally located. I wanted people to feel comfortable. I didn't want them to think that they had to come dressed any particular way. It's a very casual event. Just come casual. It's not a faith-based location, which is nothing wrong with a faith-based location. For anyone,
it's a neutral location.
It's a neutral location. If anyone doesn't have that foundation, they're welcome. If you do have that foundation, you're still welcome. It's a friendly atmosphere. It's beautiful. It's the aesthetics are very outdoorsy. The beautiful rolling green grass and the beautiful trees and the water. It's just a place where you can just relax and be serene. And that was the atmosphere that I wanted to project. I want women to come and take exhale, and when they inhale, they're going to be stronger.
Now I can imagine there's maybe someone who might have some stigma or shame or something they're wrestling with that might prevent them from coming. How could you encourage that person to just come as you are, let it all go, and trust the process?
Well, I'm a survivor of relationship violence. From the age of 19 to 21, I was a college student. I got involved with someone and a living situation, and the battering started, and it ended after an intervention from my mom. What I would say to those who feel that this happened to me or something happened to me that was so awful, trust me, there is someone who needs to know what you've been through. Until we confront it and deal with it, we're not going to be healed. So So I tell that person who has gone through anything overwhelming such as abuse, tell your story. Share your story. You will help someone else, because until you tell your story, it's just a shadow that lurks over you.
Good.
And you are whole now, or you're becoming whole. I don't want you just to survive, I want you to thrive. And when you tell your story, you're like punching that situation in the face saying, it's not going to overtake me.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason why I want women to come out. No one's going to, it's a judgment-free zone.
Good. So let me hit you with one more.
Okay.
How can you break that down? How prevalent is that? We have some young college ladies, some of them might think, hey, I'm too smart for this. I mean, how common is this thing regarding domestic violence and abuse? Were you just not smart? Are they more smarter than you? Will they say, nah, that can't happen to me? I mean, how likely are people to be impacted by this?
1 in every 4 women will be impacted by domestic, relationship, or dating violence. Remember, domestic or married women. Relationship violence is those that's living with someone or a partner. And of course, dating violence is someone that you're casually dating, that you had no idea that they were going to beat you. And remember, abuse is just not physical. It's mental, it's coercion, it's stalking. It's anything that coerces you to do something, places you in fear.
Okay.
So anyone can walk into it, because when you meet someone, that's why we're having a session, how to identify the abuser, because the abuser doesn't have it written on his forehead that I'm going to abuse you. You go into a relationship, all of a sudden the average abuser knows how to manipulate and to try to control, because that's all abuse is another person manipulating you and trying to control you.
Good point.
So anyone going into a relationship, who looks out for that? Who wants to be abused? No one. Everyone wants to be adored and loved. But something happens where that person who's abuser tries to usurp authority over the other. And it's a mind game. And many well-meaning, intelligent, beautiful women fall into the trap. I don't want women to think that if I get involved with Nyela, that my time will be taken up. No, we'll have our confidential conference calls, we'll have our outings, we'll have our survivor empowerment workshops, but we also basically will have that connection. We'll also be having Nyela Women's Summits every year, and they'll get bigger and better. So letting women know that this happened to me, but I'm not ashamed. I can tell my story. We're going to be sharing stories and changing lives. So there's a lot of activities. Go to the website, www.nyelalady.com. And to register for the summit, you can just go to summitflorida.com. That's summitflorida.com and just register. And registration is only $55, so please don't delay. Get your registration in.
Well, I'm hoping that Renee Roberson has helped you to understand some more details about the Nyela Women's Summit. I want to encourage you to come on out. Women, if you have some daughters who are approaching that age, perhaps they're getting more into relationships or dating, there are some important things they need to know. I don't know if you've had those conversations before, but perhaps it will help for them to hear it again through the mouth of others, surviving women who have been through what we're hoping for these ladies to avoid. So bring them on out if they're at that age. Pastors, I encourage you, don't be too tight-fisted with your parishioners. Let those women come. Encourage them to go. Perhaps they'll get the additional support that you're not equipped to give them, or you don't have the resources. So let them come on out. That's all I have to say. I want to thank you for participating, watching this episode of Probe, and until next time, peace.